Hi, this is Zach here with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 10th of December. Starting over the FTSE 100, we're still in a consolidation mode, coming back off the recent peaks towards 9750. We've got a resistance line there from the middle of last month, that's 9700. So be cautious and wait for an end of day close above that before targeting the top of the channel there at 10,000 for the end of next month. On the downside, obviously, we've got the floor of the channel, that's around the 9520 area. Interesting that so far we've managed to bounce above the 50-day moving average, which is actually, because it's rising, is actually a show of strength. So just waiting for that 9700 level to be broken. Moving along to the state of the DAX, and here trying to get through that October resistance line there at 24,200. So far we've had a couple of attempts and we haven't managed to crack it yet, but at least while we're above the 50-day line, we should be able to do it quite easily. That's around 24,000, and our stop loss on a break to the upside, 23,500 at the 200-day moving average. The prize is at the top of that rising trend channel from April, 26,000 plus, which we'd be looking for by the end of next month. RSI at 55, so in a good place for a move to the upside. Moving on to the Dow, and here I believe we're waiting on the Fed, but in the meantime, got the market just bouncing against the 48,000 level, the top of the channel there from February at 49,000 basically. So that's our target for the end of this month. While we remain above the 50-day moving average, just under 47,000. I suppose the point here is that if there is any intraday dip towards that 50-day line, that could potentially be a buying opportunity. Moving on to the situation at the cryptos, and here we've got a resistance line break from October, and on the Bitcoin chart that was around 91,000. Above that, we've been looking for the old November support there at 99, and the 50-day line just below it at 98 as the upside target. Ideally, now we stay on the right side of the uptrend line there from back in March, which is around the 88,000 levels. Any dips towards there probably at the moment. Buying opportunities. The only negative, though, is the way that we seem to be failing at the RSI 50 level, which we've done twice so far this month. Worst case is that we fall back below the 88,000 level and have to test the October uptrend line from last year at 80,000. So that would be obviously rather disappointing. Ethereum is next, and it's been a story of trying to consolidate above the 3,000 level, which we've done successfully, and we've also hit the 50-day line, which is around the 30, well, around current levels, 33.10, and above that, looking for the 200-day moving average, 35.50 is a best case scenario target. Obviously, at the moment, looks like we're going to do a bit better than that, but just let's go for the 200-day line now while we're above initial December resistance around the 32.50 mark. You can see that this market pushed higher after breaking a relatively long dated July RSI resistance line at 40 just a week or so ago. Gold is next, and here the situation is the consolidation above a rising 50-day line continues. That's at 14.90 now, and above that broken October resistance line there around 41.20, while we hold 41.20. Looking for a break of the mid 4200s and looking for as high as 4600 by the end of next month. The stocks are next, and Bluebird is first. Here you can see that trying to bounce off the floor of that falling trend channel. Obviously, been quite a fall from the peaks in early summer towards 2 pence. Current situation is that we've got a bit of bullish divergence here, so that is the reason for inclusion on a buy side in terms of hopefully the shares finding support in the low 0.2s and then at least rallying towards the 50-day line there at 0.43 by the end of next month. But let's see if the bullish divergence line there works on Bluebird. The next situation is clean power hydrogen, and here managed to revive after going to a very oversold territory down towards single figures in the RSI. Current position is that we're looking for a sustained break of recent resistance around 5.1 pence on an end of day close basis. If we can do that, the next level up, the old May-June resistance at 6.3 pence. If you're a fan of the shares and looking for greater glory, then above the 200-day line, you'd be looking for it up to 8.5 pence, which is the top of that falling trend channel from this time last year. Ideally, we stay above the 50-day line of 4.3 pence, whatever happens. On to the star of the show today by quite some distance, which is Eco Atlantic. I did say yesterday that above 15 pence, the previous target, we were looking for 25, and that's exactly what we've got. Now we can get even more excited in the sense that above 25, there isn't much resistance on the chart really between the 25 area, or this 23 area, and 45, the old 2022 peak. So let's see if Eco can get up there by the end of next month. I suppose the big fundamental driver here is the way that marginal Atlantic resources in the oil and gas space are now becoming very fashionable, or resources at the Atlantic margins, and that has lit a fire under Eco, and also, I suppose, Falklands oil and gas, and Borders and Southern. So happy Christmas for all of those companies. Moving on to Hemogenyx, which is obviously far off its former glories there from back in September. But we have broken a resistance line there around the £4.70 level and held above it. Looking for the 50-day moving average around £8.65 by the end of this month as a best case scenario target. If you're cautious, you wait for the RSI to get back above neutral 50, which hopefully it will. The ideal scenario is that today's low, around £5.48, is the end of day close stop loss. Moving on to image biometrics, and in fact, imaging biometrics. Here we bounced off a rising 50-day line, looking for a March resistance line projection as high as 1.4 pence. And looking for that maybe by the end of next month. Pulsar is next, and here after the rather painful decline from 60 pence plus down to around 32 pence, 33 pence, we're gapping up through a rising 50-day line. Initial target here is sort of the 45 pence plus area, hopefully by the end of this month. But obviously we're now looking for a retest of October resistance by the end of January as a best case scenario target. The last two are next, and it's been a painful descent for Wishbone. And here you can see that we come back down to the August gap area, which is around 39 pence. Above 39, maybe we could get a little bit of a rally towards the 60s. So the initial December support around 60, and the initial December peak towards 70. So somewhere in the 60s rather, by the end of next month, while we hold 39 pence on Wishbone. As far as Westmount is concerned, it's done rather well and is approaching the second target. The first target there around 3.3 pence. Second target, the top of that red rising trend channel from August, as high as 5.3 pence, which we're looking for in coming days, maybe even by the end of this week. Ideally, we stay on the right side of yesterday's peak around the 4.05 pence level. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.